The music library is one of the most important parts of WTOP. Here, thousands of records to suit your taste are kept. And you let us know what your tastes are. The Television Art Department provides sets, letters, title cards, prepares props, and specializes in a peculiar kind of magic which is so necessary to your programs. And speaking of magic, it is from this room called Telecine that motion pictures are projected. Commercial slides are inserted, as well as other visual material that does not require a live camera. Traffic and continuity are a couple of highly specialized words. To us in broadcasting, they mean the preparation of the daily schedule, the timetable by which the station operates. We read the daily schedule to find out when and where we do our programs. Film technicians consult the daily schedule to find out when to insert commercial films and how to prepare a motion picture for projection. Overlooking Studio 11 is the Columbia Room. Here we receive our distinguished guests and have pre-programmed conferences. And just as in any other building of this size, we have the Boiler Room, with its gigantic machinery to heat and cool our studios and offices. And also for the people at Broadcast House, there's the cafeteria for breakfasts, lunches, and dinners, too. And, of course, the inevitable and very welcome quick cup of coffee. This, then, is more of Broadcast House, more of the people and the places involved in bringing you programs that keep you entertained and enlightened. And now, let's go up to the third floor of Broadcast House and take you to WTOP Radio. To your left along this corridor are 5 radio studios, each with their own control unit to feed programs into Radio Master Control, which is to your right through those windows. And down at the end of this hall are several tape editing rooms, similar to the film editing we told you about. Now, behind the tape editing rooms is a recording room. Let's go down there now. Now, here special programs are recorded for later use, just as this program is being recorded at this moment on this machine right here. Now let's go along this hall to some of the studios. There's a familiar shape coming out of the newsroom. I think you know him. Shall we follow him? Yes, it's your old friend, Claude Mahoney.
Welcome to Broadcast House. I think you'll like it here. I hope you enjoy a nice tour of the building, and if you look around, you may find me tagging along because I don't know my way around the place completely myself.
This is Studio 5 and a recording session of You're the Top. Because of the large demand for tickets from government workers who are at their desks at 9:15 in the morning when the show is broadcast, recording sessions are held once a week on Thursday with John Trimble as your master of ceremonies. And then Washington housewives stay tuned for Eleanor Lee and Lee Vickers at 9:30 each morning over WTOP.
I'm Eleanor Lee.
And I'm Lee Vickers.
We hope that you will be with us each weekday morning at 9:30 when we get together for our informal at home.
Yes, the program comes to you from Studio 3 here at Broadcast House. And I certainly must say, Eleanor, that this is a far cry from the old days when radio consisted of virtually nothing but station breaks and a couple of ad-lib programs.
And no pictures.
No pictures.
You know, Lee and I have been around for a long time. How long has it been, Lee? 16 years.
It's been pretty close to that, I think.
16 years. And we're very proud of our new home, Broadcast House. It's a $2 million home out at 40th and Brandywine. We hope you'll come out and see it and visit with us, because we think that you will think and will agree with us it's just as beautiful as possible.
It certainly is. It's magnificent.
But now, Lee, it's time to join our neighbors next door, right?
Yes, and our neighbors, so to speak, on WTOP in the morning are Nancy Dixon and Ted Lingo.
Hello. It's fun being with you today, isn't it, Ted?
It sure is. You know, this is Nancy Dixon, the shoppingest gal in town.
Well,
really.
I won't deny that. There's only one thing that I like better than shopping.
What's that?
Talking about it.
Fine. And I see you brought along one of your well-scribbled notes here.
Never without them. This is something that is very new. It's something everyone's going to be hearing about, and everyone's very excited about.
Well, first off, who is this for?
Well, I'd say this is for everyone. Everyone in the Washington area.
It comes in all the sizes, then.
Well, one size, really. 5 stories. There are 5 radio studios and 3 television studios.
Sounds a little expensive. What's the price?
Well, really, not expensive. In fact, there's no price at all to you, just merely flipping a switch.
I can afford that.
You can afford
yes,
that.
I'll take that. Another question we always ask is the cover.
Well, it's a great choice of colors. Cool grays combined with sunshiny yellows or greens and all shades from light to dark. Beautiful.
It sounds like a good item, really.
It is. And, of course, you know we're talking about Broadcast House.
That's right.
And now we'd like for you to meet some of our other radio associates.
Yes, we certainly would. And we'd like to introduce now an old friend of mine and yours. In Washington, he's quite an institution. He's known as Mr. Baseball himself. You know who I'm talking about. Here he is, Arch McDonald.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Arch McDonald, sports director of WTOP, speaking of sports. And that's just what I do 6 nights a week, twice nightly. Once at 6:35 and again the late show at 11:20. Very shortly, I shall start my 21st year of broadcasting here for this station. And these years have held many fond memories. Before these microphones have paraded every celebrity in the world of sports. Names like Babe Ruth, Lou Gehrig, Ben Hogan, Joe Louis, Jack Dempsey, Ted Williams, and all the great stars of our times in all sports. This station has made it a policy of bringing you up to date on sports every day of the week. And we're going to have a bright new feature for you very soon, because beginning on the 21st of this month, we'll be bringing you interviews with all the great stars of Major League Baseball from their Florida training camps, where the bustling and the activity is just about ready to get underway. So I hope you have time to tune us in sometime. Remember, it's twice nightly at 6:35 and 11:20. Be with us, won't you?
Okay, Arch. And now we take you to the music library. And here's a gentleman picking the records for the stars. I think you know him.
I'm Bob Dolan. This is the Broadcast House Music Library, and I spend quite a bit of time in here every day, pulling music for the Hour of Stars from 10 to 11 every night on WTOP Radio. Peggy Lee, Tony Martin, Ginger Rogers, and Dick Powell are very sorry they couldn't be here to say hello and greetings, too. So if I may, for them, a very cordial welcome to Broadcast House. We have a gentleman coming up next I think you may have heard of. He follows me by about a half an hour, and then also early in the morning, in the afternoon. I think you're going to recognize this very familiar sound.
Well, that's my cue if I ever heard it. That's right. Your favorite star always wins every time the moon dial spins. And, of course, we're on in the morning, the afternoon, at night, with your favorite stars and records, and sometimes interviews with the stars. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we take you to the 5th floor of Broadcast House and introduce the president of WTOP Incorporated, Mr. John S. Hayes.
May I welcome you to Broadcast House at 40th and Brandywine Streets, Northwest in Washington, D.C. This is the new home of WTOP, WTOP-FM, and WTOP Television, the Washington Post, CBS, radio, and television stations. I hope you've enjoyed your tour through our new house. It has taken us 2 years to plan Broadcast House and over a year to build it. Into it have gone countless hours of time and effort, all of the modern equipment which today's engineers have been able to design, great patience, and much toil. Now we've completed our building, but all of us here at Broadcast House know that stone and brick and mortar and equipment are not enough. We're here to produce radio and television programs that are to your liking, and you have the right to expect that we shall devote our facilities to your enjoyment and information. This is a good time for all of us here at WTOP to dedicate ourselves once again to the proposition that our primary task is to serve you and to do all we can to make sure that you are contented to be part of our audience. During the past few moments, you have met many of the men and women who are part of WTOP. You have not met scores of others, other men and women who work long and hard behind the scenes, away from the microphones, out of sight of the cameras. Men and women whose part in our operation is just as vital and important as those whom you might have seen this evening. On behalf, then, of all of the 275 men and women who really make up Broadcast House, I welcome you tonight. Now I would like you to meet another member of our staff. He is a gentleman whose writings and whose broadcasts over both radio and television have made him a most honored member of our profession. Here is Eric Severide.
Well, John, I think all of us are grateful that we can work in this rather astonishing temple of the electronics age. I know I have never worked in such pleasant and efficient surroundings in my 15 years of broadcasting. The daily job for us all is bound to be a little happier, a little better done because of this environment, but we are all the same human beings with all the same talents or weaknesses that we had a few months ago. Our listeners and viewers have not changed. They will not listen in greater numbers or greater understanding or greater enjoyment merely because our product comes from a greater and finer building. Their reward will increase only as the efforts of our own hearts and brains increase. Well, we know this. I think no one here will let these magnificent walls and all this astounding equipment obscure this real goal and vision for a moment. This new building represents many things, but we are not going to let it represent a triumph of matter over mind. Mr. Shakespeare didn't know about radio or television, but the show's the thing will continue to apply as the working pledge and slogan around these premises. What this building does represent, in a way, is a vote of confidence. Not only a vote of confidence in the economic future of broadcasting or in the national economic future, but a vote of confidence in ourselves, because we think we can master these rapid and soaring progresses of the electronics age. We think we can do better every year. We think we can justify the enormous responsibility that lies with heavy hand upon all those who publicly practice the freedom of speech and communication that our kind of government has provided for. Well, to me anyway, the technical mystery of electronics communication between human minds is the purest magic. It leaves one in awe and wonder. And it's a thing to be handled with care and taste and wisdom, because we have to handle it in the midst of a free society. No exterior force is going to destroy that society. That could only be done from within by those who exercise this kind of power without responsibility. But we in this place shall not ever consciously break the unwritten rules that hold a free society together: tolerance and taste and forbearance. We shall try always to have what one of the forefathers called a decent respect for the opinions of mankind. And for us here, mankind must mean our audience. We can do nothing here unless we too merit your respect. In any case, we will try.
And that was Eric Severide, who told you part of the story of Broadcast House. I'm standing next to the Freedom Sphere, which I will tell you about in just a moment. There's so much to tell about Broadcast House that will probably take much longer than a half-hour television program. We've told you, of course, that we have 5 radio studios, we have 3 television studios, and one of our radio studios can be converted into a television show if the necessity ever arises. And of course, there's over 83,000 square feet of floor space in this building, which is devoted entirely and exclusively to broadcasting and to telecasting. I thought you might like to also know there are 450 wastebaskets. This is something that is in our statistical bureau, too. Something else that you would like to know, that more than 275 people work here, day in and day out, technicians, and we regret, too, that we were unable to show you all the people that work here. There are many behind the scenes who are contributing to the programming of telecasting and broadcasting here in Washington, and to all of those who assisted us tonight, and to all of you, we always extend a very cordial invitation to visit us here anytime. Our door is always open because this is your house as well as ours. Well, I guess that's about it. You've met the people who are the real structure of WTOP radio here in Washington, and television too. We invite you to visit us here at our home because, in a true sense, as I said before, this is your home too. And in this aluminum sphere, which I want to tell you about, manufactured to endure for 1,000 years, are preserved the documents, the sights and sounds of civic, public, and government business organizations of the nation's capital, in whose freedom of action and expression lies the freedom of our people. This freedom sphere is part of Broadcast House so that the symbols of these community organizations may be part of this building and the purpose of these broadcasting stations forever. This, then, is our cornerstone. And now, this is Eddie Gallagher saying thanks to all of you at your particular home for inviting us into your house from Broadcast House. On behalf of all my co-workers, thanks so very much, and I hope you come out to see us real soon. And now to you all, a very pleasant good night.